Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to the JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be ranking the best pink diamond cards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Help me push towards the 25,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, in today's video, we got a bunch of the best pink diamonds in the game, nearly 50. I think it's like 47. So if there's any pink diamonds I leave off the list, feel free to let me know. But this is the maximum number that I could put on with like the limit that tier maker has on how the size basically for the contents on the tier list, the file size or whatever. So this is the most cards I could get on the tier list. I think I got most all of the good pink diamonds. So yeah, without further ado, let's hop right into it. We'll start off with Adam Morrison. I don't think he's S tier anymore because his behind the back, while being amazing, his release just isn't that great. I think the release is the one thing that you kind of holds the card back. I mean, stat and badge wise, I will say he's not as complete as some cards who are on this list, but he has some of the best shot creation animations and just some of the better animations in general in the entire game, which makes him a very, very good card. So I think it's pretty fair to put him A tier still. I just don't know. Some people would say he's S. Like an elite level shot creator, elite level dribbler. Like I think I'm a pretty good dribbler, but I don't know. I think there are some people out there who really love this card still who probably would put him S. But for me, I think A is probably fair, and I'm only going to be going. I mean, we're gonna have almost 10 guys in the S tier. He might wind up being moved up. We'll see. Caruso is one of those 10 guys for sure. A legit top 5 point guard in the game, in my opinion. Not just pink diamond, not just anything. Just point guard, period. He's that good. He's 6'5", elite defender, really complete stats and badges offensively as well. Great card, has a movable enforcer. I mean, he's a complete, really, really good all-around card who is a stud in multiple areas and does a ton of things really, really well as a card, to be honest. He's an absolute stud of an overall card, and I'm a big, big fan of what he is able to do on the court in a lot of ways. So I think S tier for sure. I think AI has to go D tier. There's just no way he can't. You know what I mean? I don't know. I find it very hard to not have him D tier. I think he's so mediocre with his lack of size. I understand the SIGs, I guess, are okay, but they're not like unbelievably great or anything, I wouldn't say. And I don't know. I don't think he's that good. I think he's pretty bad. He's only 6 foot. He's one of the worst pink diamonds in this list for sure. Definitely D tier. AK is bad. But no, he's not. He's great defensively. He's just not great offensively. He's an okay slasher, but he doesn't have great SIGs nor a great release at this point in the year. But he's not horrific, and he's a really good defender. So he does have value, which still puts him in the B tier. But I'm not super high on the card. I need to start talking faster. This video is going to be 20 minutes long again. AD is A tier to me. He might be S. 80's on the borderline A tier to S tier. I think I might go S tier with him. He's right on that close borderline. I don't know. I'm going to go A tier actually for right now. We'll wind up and see if we move him up or down. He's just an elite, versatile power forward option who does a lot of things well. Shoots the ball at a high level, versatile defender, can do it pretty much everything on the court, at least a very solid level. He is at worst high A tier. Antoine Walker's pretty mid. I think B tier. It looked decent on paper, but he's just not quite as good of a slasher as I thought he would be. Shooting wise, he's very solid, but his release isn't the best release ever. Defensively, he's good, but not insane. Versatile, but not like a ton of hoffs. Good card, but just nothing special. I think B tier is fair. Kind of same with Bam. Bam is good. Really good release, good defender. I like the card a lot. He's just undersized at power forward. Not an insane playmaker. He's just not the best. He's good, but he's not insane. Ben Wallace can't shoot the ball at all. That is all we have to say. D tier. Bob Pettit, pretty mid. I don't know if he's D tier, but he's definitely C. I don't think he's very good as an overall card. The power forward position, he's just a little slow. I think he's got, 84 speed, which isn't awful, but teensy bit slow. He's undersized, does not have much playmaking at all. Honestly, badge-wise, he's just not that complete, especially defensively on the perimeter and as a playmaker. So, I don't know. I think C at highest is kind of fair. You could almost argue D tier with him, and I wouldn't be mad. In fact, I'm looking at this list, and I think I am going to go D tier for Pettit. I'm not very good. I'm not a big fan of that card. Brent Berry. B tier for him as well. I'm almost thinking Antoine Walker's a tier high. I almost want to move him down, but he's not a terrible card. Brent Berry's good. I think he's actually A. I'm putting him B, but he's A. Brent Berry's really good. He's 6'7". He's super athletic, good dunker. This card is super slept on. People do not realize how good Brent Berry is as a card. Fast, great shooter, really good dunker. Now, defensively, he's not insane, but he does have Hoff clamps. His SIGs are really nice, good behind the back. I think might have Jamal Murray behind the back, actually. Pretty good SIGs, fast release, like a stud. Really good card. I like him a lot. Bryant Reeves, I'm going to go A tier as a big. I think, well, there's a couple other bigs in this list that I know are higher than him, but he's not far out. He's A or B. I think his release is nice. He's a great interior big. He dunks the ball at a high level. Really good on the interior and both ends of the court. I actually think he's a really solid card. And you know what? I think I'm going to leave him A tier. He's really solid. He's not bad at all. Chauncey Billups is horrible. He's 6'3" with a bad release and not athletic, not great SIGs. 2K just does not be showing the Pistons love, man, because Ben Wallace stinks. Chauncey Billups stinks. We're going to get to Rip Hamilton at some point if he's in this list, and I think he is, and he's like okay, but he's not great either. Honestly, the center position, or the Pistons are kind of getting screwed on their cards. Their cards are never all that good in my team either. Chet Holmgren, I'm probably going C at this point. I would definitely take a guy like Bam over Chet, and I think there's a good enough difference between them. Maybe I either need to move a Bam up, or I think Chet in C. Is Chet in C too low, though? He's not awful. He just, I don't know. His release isn't insanely fast. He's good defensively, but he's weak. He's not a great playmaker. Doesn't have great SIGs or anything, but he's a good card in a lot of areas. I don't know. I feel like C is a little low, but it almost seems fair at this point. Danny Green, I'm going to go B. He has really good SIGs, but he's just not that complete badge-wise, and I don't think unless you badge him out, he's great. He needs a lot of playmaking badge type stuff, but he is a good 3 and D, great release, very good SIGs as well, just does some interesting things. I just think without a bunch of extra badges, he's missing too much to truly be best of the best. Dino Raja is going to go A tier for me because he's 6'9" at the point guard spot. Big, versatile, athletic point guard who does a lot of things well. That is an A tier guard for me. Honestly, he's borderline S tier. I think he's really, really good, and Dino's a stud. Darren Williams. He's 6'3". He's not a great athlete, but he does have really good SIGs and a nice release. Defensively, he's okay, but he's undersized. He's not bad, but he's not great. I think the lack of size holds him back more than anything else. I don't know. I feel like C tier is probably fair. D-Book, I guess I'll go high B at this point. Just lack of defense on him kind of hurts him. He's got a great release. He does actually move quite well. His fade is really good. I'm putting him A tier still. His offense is good enough, especially with his fade, his movement, his release, all that type of stuff, where he deserves to be relatively high on this list. We'll go A tier still for him. Going S tier for Mr. Dino Raja. Dino is obviously one of the best pink diamond cards in the game. Great release. 7'11" wingspan is absolutely massive. He is one of the few bigs in the game who truly competes against like all the gambling only bigs at a high level defensively, and he's also a really good offensive card with a nice release, some legit playmaking ability, a lot of athletic ability. Really, really good card. Dwight Howard is just really mid. Honestly, I think C tier is very fair. He's a very mediocre card. Slow release. Yes, he's fast, but he doesn't have much playmaking ability at all either. Besides the speed, he has no playmaking ability, basically, realistically, is how I would describe Dwight. I just don't think Dwight is that good of a card. Honestly, I'm not a big fan. I think C tier is very fair, and honestly, I almost want to put him D tier. He's just not very good. Dyson Daniels, great defensively as a PG, 6'7", really smooth release as well, and athletic. Has good playmaking badges, but I will say his SIGs aren't the best of the best. But I actually really do like this Dyson Daniels card. Really good card. S tier, in my opinion. Very, very good option. Franz Wagner, I'm going A. He's a 6'10". No, I'm actually going S. He's a 6'10" shooting guard. He's got a great release, very smooth. He's complete badge-wise. He's a good dunker. He's a great shooter, and he's got good defensive ability as well. He's a really good card all the way around, and he's 6'10" at the shooting guard position. That's an S tier card. I would actually really like this Hassan Whiteside card if he had a good release, but his release is booty cheeks. And I mean actual booty cheeks. I really don't like it, and it does hurt the card. He's a great interior, but he's not much of a shooter at all, especially with how poor his release is. Kind of hurts the card. I think C tier is fair. I'm going to go Jabari Smith in B. He's not the most complete defender in the world, but he's got a super smooth, easy release. He dunks the ball at a pretty high level, but mainly it's the release. Fast, easy, smooth release, very good release. That's probably my favorite part about the card. I like him a lot. I think he's really good, and he does everything that I really want a card to do. I don't know. He does everything well, but nothing great. Like, besides shoot. He shoots really well, but I don't think he's the best defender. His player build doesn't that big. I don't know. B tier seems pretty fair. Going A for Jaren as well, next to AD. They're pretty similar cards. He and AD give you pretty much the same thing. Both very good versatile defenders, good shooters, nice release. He's less of a playmaker than AD is. AD might have a slightly slower release, but they're both very good cards. Very, very solid. I think Jason Richardson's super mid. Not a great release. SIGs aren't top tier. He's not elite defensively. He doesn't have huge size. He's not a great card by any means. Joel Embiid, going B tier with him. Fine, but not amazing. Not much of a playmaker whatsoever, which isn't super important at center, but I don't love that he's not a playmaker at all. And also, his badges are not incredibly complete. He can't get every badge upgraded, and honestly, I don't love the release. At the same time, he's a big 7-footer. He's versatile defensively. Can hit open 3 at a high level. Still a good inside big offensively as well. Very good offensively. So I think B tier is totally fair. Going S tier again, probably for Jordan Walsh. You're going to notice a lot of pink diamonds from this Nebula set in that S tier for good reason. We got another one still coming too. Jordan Walsh, 6'7", great defender, great SIGs, great release, great everything really, shooting our position. He's a great card. One of the better pink diamonds in the game. Obviously S tier to me. Julius Erving, if he had anchor, limitless range, and brick wall, if he could get upgraded badges, this card would still be one of the very best cards in the game. But without those badges, I still want to put him A tier because of how great his releases are, and yet his releases and his animations and all that type of stuff, and yet at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I think the badge deficiency almost makes me want to put him B tier. He's just not complete enough. And I think I'm going to. I'm putting him B tier. He's missing some of the most important badges in the game, and it limits the card. As good as he is, he's missing some areas. And I'm sure the next Dr. J will be one of the very best cards in the game, without a doubt, because he'll be much more complete. Kobe is obviously still S tier, still one of my favorite pink diamonds in the game to this day, and probably for the rest of the year, basically. Kobe will be one of my favorite cards. I mean, at some point, I'm probably going to get a better Kobe, but until that day, I probably will realistically keep using this pink diamond Kobe, especially if you have a bunch of extra Hoffs on him like I do. He is legitimately one of the best cards in the game to this day. Incredible release, incredible SIGs, amazing animations, overall amazing card. KP is going high A. I don't think he's going S though anymore. He's just not super fast. That's the one complaint I have about KP, is the lack of speed. And he is a great shooter. He defends relatively well, honestly better than his stats and badges say he should, because of the fact that he's 7'3". He defends quite well. I like the card. I don't know. A tier probably feels more fair than S at this point. Kyle Korver is so mid. I will stand by that. Since the day that card came out, I have not been that high on him. People love him. I don't get why. I know his release is amazing. He doesn't do anything else well. Literally. Besides his release being amazing, he literally does almost nothing else well. He's very easy to guard at this point in the year. I don't think the card is that good. I almost want to put him D tier, but I'm going to put him C. Michael Beasley is probably S because of the release, because of the size, because of the versatility at the small forward position. He's really good, man. He really is. I think he does have to get one of these S tier spots. I still have 3 more S tiers, and I'm looking at my list, and I know exactly who 2 of them are. The third one makes me kind of wonder. I'm not sure if I'm going to take one of these guys out of these guys remaining, or if I'm going to move somebody up from A tier. But to have 10 S tier guys, it's kind of starting to shape up. Michael Cooper, amazing 3 and D, does almost nothing else. He's not much of a playmaker at all. In fact, he's almost a complete non-playmaker, but he has a great release, and he dunks the ball pretty well, and he is a very, very good defender. That is about it, but that is still a very solid card. Monta Ellis. He is like Darren Williams, except he didn't get the juice. He's basically like an unjuiced version of a Darren Williams. Doesn't have boosted stats or really badges or animations specifically, especially animations and jump shot. Like, Monta's just not very good. He's been never good in 2K, but he's certainly not very good this time. This Monta card is not great at all, and he's definitely D tier. Vucevic is a worse version of Bryant Reeves. Now, Bryant Reeves is B, C is A, but I still think Vucevic is probably C. I know his release is good. I know he's a good shooter, but he doesn't defend very well. He's not super fast. He's kind of undersized to not have great speed. He's not bad. He's just not amazing. He's one of the, I think he's high C, but I don't know. Maybe I should put him B, but there's a lot of guys in B tier that I would take over this Vucevic card personally. At the same time, would I take him over Embiid? Maybe. So you know what? I'm putting him B tier. I changed my mind. I'm about to move both him and Embiid down to C tier instead. You know what? That's what I'm doing. I don't like Embiid's lack of playmaking. That's what I'm doing. And it evens out the list more. I'm fine with that. Oscar's B. He's 6'5", good defensive point guard, pretty complete stat and badge-wise. I like the card a lot. Good release, very good release. He's a stud, but I think B tier is pretty fair. Paulo Zay, he's not S, but he's a 6'10", really good defender, versatile, athletic, has a nice release, off limitless, can put the ball on the floor decently well. Not amazing, but okay. I like the card. I think he does a ton of things well. I think A tier is very fair, and yeah, just pretty easily A tier for me. Paul George, he is the one that I was debating. Is he S tier or not? And I look at the guys in A tier, and it's like, are any of these guys better than Paul George? And the answer in my mind specifically is yes. There's a guy left that's better than Paul George, actually. So you know what? I'm going A tier for PG, and I think that's going to have to be a fair, very, very fair spot for him. As great as PG is he better than the other guys in A tier? Is he significantly better than them? Probably not. His release is not unbelievably great. He has a good fade, but not like the best fade in the game. He has obviously great stats and badges and very complete stats and badges, but he's missing a couple things here and there. He's not a perfect card. He's a great card, really good pink diamond, great size, very fun card to use, but I'm not quite giving him S tier. I was considering it, but I don't think I'm going to. Rip Hamilton's a great 3 and D. That's literally it. He shoots the ball at a high level. He's a good defender, and I guess he can kind of play make. He has a really nice fade. I kind of liked this card when I did gameplay with him, but he's still not great. He's definitely a lot better than Ben Wallace and Chauncey Billups are, but still, I don't love the way that the 2K be doing the early 2000s Pistons, always making them very mediocre cards. Pippen is going to get the final S tier spot. That's what I've decided. Obviously, I have 2 more S tier guys, but those guys were already decided in my mind. Pippen's going to get the last spot, in my opinion. He is number 10 in the S tier. Great card, great pink diamond, great release, dunks very well still. He just doesn't shot create well at all. His release is super smooth and easy. He's just not a shot creator at all. That's really it. He's a good card, though. Steph is a complete non-factor, I think, at this point in a lot of ways. I mean, his release is great still, and he's got a good fade. He's got decent SIGs, but he's a short guard who's not insanely athletic at all, and he's a very mediocre defender at this point in the year compared to the top-tier guards. I think he has to go D tier. I'm not a fan. Tyrese Thomas, best pink diamond in the game. This one I think everybody knew was obviously going to be in the top of the S tier. Tyrese Thomas is as good as it gets as a pink diamond in my team. He has insane animations, really great stats and badges all the way around. He's a top-tier elite defender and slasher, but also has some of the best offensive animations in the game, which allow allows him to be a legitimate primary ball handler type 3 hunter as well. Definitely S tier. The other S tier guy is Tyson Chandler, who is phenomenal as well, of course. Really, really good card with a great release, who is obviously a dominant rebounder and a defender, and honestly not a bad playmaker either. Does need badges upgrade in the shooting and the playmaking, but Tyson's a really good card. Got to put Wemby A tier. The A tier has gotten very big, but you know what? I think that's just going to have to live. You know what? I'm moving Bryant Reeves down. He'll go high B, but I think this evens it out a little bit as well. Bryant Reeves is really good. I mean, I'm sorry. Wemby's very good, 7'4". He's just not... He's a little slow. He's not as complete badge-wise as he used to be. He's still very good, and honestly kind of a good counter to bigger gambling bigs at times as well. His size is very valuable, but I still think you got to go A tier with him. I don't love the card anymore. I think Vince is on the exact same level as a guy like Dr. J, and I want to put him there, and I'm going to move Antoine Walker down again to even out this tier list, because I want the tier list to be pretty even. I don't want a super big tier. So we're evening it out a little bit, and I think Vince is better than a guy like Antoine Walker. He's a 6'6", great shooter with very complete stats and badges for a shooting guard. Yes, he's not unbelievably complete, but he can be badged, and he's a very solid card. Certainly not bad, certainly not deserving to be below the B tier. X-Man is so good too, bro. I'm moving Rip Hamilton down too. Sorry, one more. He just doesn't do enough as a ball handler. I could move AK down, but AK's so good defensively. I want to keep him, but he might be my next. No, I don't need to move anybody else down, actually. So X-Man is really good. Great shot creator. Deserving of a B tier spot, I truly believe as well. Really good behind the back. Great release as well. He just needs playmaking badges added to really reach his potential. But he actually does have good saves. Kind of like Danny Green, honestly. He's a bigger guy, a little more versatile athletically and doing other stuff. But I like the card, and I really do think X-Man's a B tier guy. Yeah, was the final card on this list. Obviously D tier, a 25 speed, 25 3-ball basically big is absolutely awful. And I think that's pretty distinctly D tier to end off this list. So we got, 7 guys in D tier and then 10 guys in every other list or every other tier. I think that's pretty fair, and I think this is a pretty good list. So would love to hear y'all's thought on my tier list before, but if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.